All right, so today, Disrupticons, we are talking about maximums and minimums. So what you should shoot for in terms of your overall health and fitness performance. So the answers may surprise you.
Yeah, I would agree.
Stick around and listen to it all. Check it out. Like, subscribe, share, 5-star reviews, positive comments.
Only positive comments.
And
you could put a negative one, I guess.
We'll see you again in about 45 minutes.
Yes.
Welcome to the Disruptivecast with your hosts, the Brandons.
Good morning.
And Kevin.
Howdy.
Dave, last week you got to see Avit.
Yep.
Avit has not been sleeping, so Dave was not sleeping. So Dave is
nap
parenting.
time. Or doing, I don't know, I don't have a kid. Whatever you do with them.
It's
Entertain them?
Not that much at that age. There's not a lot of entertaining to do. It's more feeding.
Yeah.
You got to put food in their bellies. So before we go any further, go over to the website, disruptivefit.com, sign up for the newsletter, and go to iTunes, 5-star reviews, positive comments.
Only positive comments.
And YouTube, just push the buttons down there.
Like, thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up, not
share,
thumbs down.
Comment.
All of that stuff. Yeah, comment. If you comment on it, we might do a video of commenting on comments.
If you ask a question in the comments.
Or if the comments are stupid. I don't care.
We could do...
I'll totally make a video making fun of you for commenting stupid things in our comments.
And the best thing about YouTube is you can actually put like a fake name.
That's true.
You don't actually have to use your real name. It could be like CrossFit Dude 64.
I was going to say 64.
Yeah. Well.
That's weird. Mind meld. So today's show, we're going to talk about maximums and minimums.
Yep. In the fitness world.
In fitness.
I've been told that they don't really matter.
They don't?
That's what I've been told.
Well, we're just saying for general, I think like for just general overall like health.
I'm going to say I think minimums matter more than maximums.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably, for me.
So let's define terms.
Yes, please.
That's what we do here. We define terms. What's a maximum?
I would say for me, it's on, in a competition environment.
So it has to be officially
judged.
Okay.
And
is YouTube an official environment?
I think it can be now. I mean, because most people, they're probably not going to.
Because if you go to any YouTube video of anybody lifting, 99% of the comments are how they suck at lifting.
Yeah, that's true.
That squat was high. Like they sat down on the ground and it was high.
Hey, I think you got too low. Your butt
that doesn't count.
You
butt winked. It doesn't count.
So yeah,
it just depends. I think it just depends on who your coach is.
Who your coach is?
Yeah.
If it counts.
If it counts. I mean, if they're schooled enough and know the movement and where you need to be, I think they can say whether or not it's good or not good.
That's fair. I do like the competitive arena for it. There's in powerlifting, which is my main interest, is definitely gym lifts and meet lifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the only time it really counts. I mean, if
the meet lifts are the ones that count, right? Yeah, your official totals.
And I would also say we have a rule at our gym: an official lift doesn't count unless you're using the competition plates, because those high temps, especially on the if you're doing touch and go deadlifts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a big difference.
That's true.
And that's, I think, a Rich Froning rule, right?
Is it?
I think he doesn't count a workout unless it's with the official weights.
Huh. I could get behind that because I definitely have coached people who have loaded the wheels all the way out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you like band and tape more plates onto the outside. And then by the time you're at your knees, the ends of the bar start to come off the ground.
Yeah.
It's more like doing a tire deadlift than it is like doing a deadlift.
Yep.
I definitely think Rogue and Again Faster and Penland could get all behind us promoting the whole competition aspect.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, you guys just need to all go and buy like $3,000 sets of plates.
Under the comments, or just say that we sent you there.
Yeah, no problem. Everybody wants to buy an extra $3,000 set of plates.
So if that's an option, which it is, and I say most gyms
or metal plates.
Yeah, I just try to make it consistent.
Can I have a word about competition plates? And this is just me, and I don't know if it affects you guys or anybody else.
Yep.
But when I see competition plates, they throw me off because they're smaller than the regular, the high temp
Yeah,
plates.
but a lot of CrossFitters are used to the big fat plates.
Right, and they just throw me off because I'll see them and I'll be like, man, this is a lot heavier than it looks.
That's interesting, bringing up kind of the psychological aspect of lifting maxes. So ideally, if you have a good official max, it's official. It's been in competition where it's been judged by people who are
competent
judges
qualified to judge what you're doing. I know every meet, every event, everywhere doesn't have always the best judges.
Even in the NFL.
That's true.
I think the ones
The
that
NFL has the worst judges.
I think as far as CrossFit goes, like when you have like a local competition, I think people are a lot harder in judging.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you get somebody that doesn't like you, or you have you have like
you have some kind of personal
grind
history
against them, they'll sit there and say no rep.
The community.
That's just what I do when I judge. It's just no reps. You got a 0 on this workout. Congratulations.
Yeah, hope you like that one.
That's why I do the CrossFit judges course. It's so I can just say no a lot to a lot of people.
I was judging a competition, and the guy just disregarded what I was telling him. I was like, hey, you need to go back to the bar.
You're like, well, all that 25 minutes of work, you only got 3 minutes worth. Good job.
And I was like, well, I guess he's just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I can't stop you.
I've never judged a competition.
Yeah?
No.
I judge everyone I see.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just constantly judging competitions.
Well, I think we all do that, but you know what I mean by that.
No, I just extra do it. That's what's fun for me. So officially judged or scored, and then your best ever in your entire life numbers, right? So max squat is like back when you were 17 and on steroids, and
you were not paying for your food
conditions were
bill.
perfect, and you squat 700 pounds. Even if you could only squat 300 today, if somebody asks you what's your max back squat, what are you going to say? 700 pounds.
Yeah. What I would say is in recent times, like my current max is not my all-time max. So
there's just too many qualifications now.
My current
maxes all-time,
or my current maxes, because
my body weight max, my max and a wristwatch and a belt.
I just didn't care in high school.
One shoe off, one nano, one Metcon. Right, that's my new PR for that setup.
I mean, it could be done.
PRs are getting out of control.
Tape on your left thumb, on your right index finger.
Yeah.
I guess now that a lot of gyms have switched to like a point of sale system with workout tracking.
Yeah, sure. You can keep up with what you're doing.
It's terrible. Because you're just like, oh man, can't imagine that I would write this in here unless I actually did it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, you see the graph. In Wodify, you can see the graph.
Right.
And it's just like, you're like, oh, I was like, that's not standard.
I remember when I was stronger than this.
Yeah. And that's where I think
that's
for
when
me,
you got to start setting new PRs.
Yeah.
Like, here's my back squat from when I was back squatting a lot, PR. And then, here's my back squat from when I don't back squat anymore.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going for like a 7 rep max.
Yeah, so let's say in terms of CrossFit, we'll kind of center in on CrossFit for the conversation, because in powerlifting, like whatever your greatest total ever was is what you go out with. Like that's what you get remembered for. Donnie Thompson, first guy to break 3,000. That's who he is to a lot of people, Mr. 3,000. When Dave Hoff beat that 3,005, right? Then he comes known for his total. So you see in powerlifting, like your last big total is what you get remembered for. But in CrossFit, it kind of varies a little bit more. Those numbers go up and down a little bit more. So how important is my max effort, one time I've ever made it in my life, PR back squat, to my CrossFit performance?
Personally, I don't think it matters.
What?
Well, I just, my best clean and jerk ever was up at Muscle Driver.
Yep. At a meet.
And it was
official.
It was official. It was 225, but I pressed it out and I call it my CrossFit max. But I'm just like,
I like that. But, I tell people all the time in the gym that they just did a CrossFit snatch. That counts here, but that doesn't count on the platform.
I just think you need to be consistent with your numbers across the board, and then when it comes time to perform, you're either good that day or you're not good that day, and you'll exceed or you will just kind of stay the course.
That's true.
You know.
And what about the upsides of maxes? What's good about setting a new max? It's motivating. It's fun.
I mean, I guess
Who doesn't like to lift a bigger bar?
I think, for me, it's, I guess still a lot of times for a lot of people, linear progression, and you kind of just say 5. I mean, like 5 pounds when you first start doing CrossFit, it's like, oh, every day. And now the longer you do anything, it's just, it kind of takes a lot more energy. But it's good.
More effort, more expertise.
So I think that's, you got to appreciate it and kind of realize that it's not going to happen. The more you train, the less frequent the PRs are probably going to be.
Yeah, I feel like I set PRs on the big lifts about 3 times a year now.
Yeah.
I think it can be very disheartening if you get stuck at a number, though.
Yeah, plateauing can be kind of frustrating. I'll give you that.
I'm kind of stuck there on my snatch, but that's understandable.
Sure.
So,
and for me, what I always say is, what can I come in and consistently do? Like, if you snatch 225, 3 times
ever in your entire life,
in your entire life, and you're just really inconsistent, maybe we just try to make it so consistency where you come in, and if you can do, 185, 95% of the time, that's probably a better number to look at.
So that's good. So that kind of pushes us towards the other question is what are minimums? So if we're talking about maximums, you're at, that's maybe your all-time best lift in a category, your all-time best time on a workout when the conditions were perfect and everything was right. What are your minimums?
I think me personally, I think the best answer for a minimum is a weight that you can consistently do without being winded, touch and go.
Sure.
Without having to put the bar down.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I'd say if you walk into the gym with the flu, you should still be able to make this.
Yeah.
That's my minimum. Like I'm sick and I can squat X. Not I did everything I can, sniff my ammonia caps and knee wraps and my everything else, and I squat X. That's the number I'm going to tell you if you tell me my max.
Sure.
Like, what's the most you ever squat? I'm going to tell you the most I've ever squat. But the minimums, I think, are more valuable, more effective, and they're a better tool for measurement in the long term, just as a lifetime athlete, right? Because we're all lifers.
Yeah, and I think for me, what those kind of minimums are is, hey, if I'm, kind of embodying kind of like a healthy, active lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you're outside the gym because you go on a vacation doing something.
Yep.
If you can still come back and squat 225 or whatever. For me, it's probably, I guess I'm like, as long as I can squat 315 and I'm doing that fairly consistently.
Yeah.
For me right now, that means that if I can maintain that, then I can always, increase some squatting and do some stuff to really get that up. But if it starts getting where that's, where I'm regressing a lot, then it's time to do some exercise for just general long-term health, because you don't want to sacrifice all of it.
Sure. So it sounds like the setup for minimums is a little bit of a personal determination.
Yeah.
I would just add that in the sport of CrossFit, it is set up for minimums. Okay. You're always going to have the listed weight. So that's going to be the minimum that you're going to have to do.
Sure.
Or the maximum.
More of a competitive place, right?
And so then you scale back, and that becomes your minimum.
Okay.
Because like in powerlifting and Olympic lifting, you're always trying to go more than your max. You're working for that.
Yeah,
whereas in CrossFit, you're just kind of trying to stay. What is it? What do they always say? If you can always just stay across the board, medium in the middle, you probably win the whole time.
Yeah. So you talk about like the 10 physical skills, right, for CrossFit. Oh man, I'm terrible at
accuracy.
Lists.
I know that's what.
It's funny that you start with accuracy because we're going to miss this.
Yeah.
What? Strength,
endurance,
flexibility, mobility. Oh, that's flexibility.
This is on the test, folks.
Stamina, power, speed, endurance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Coordination, balance.
Yeah, I think that's.
There's that. That's around 10 things. That if you're a power lifter, you may see the strength a 10 on a sliding scale of 1 to 10, but the endurance might be a 2 out of 10. Which I think there should be, for any given person, minimums across the board, right? If you chose fitness, the definition of fitness to be the 10 general skills. Really, the technical definition of fitness is fitness to a task. What can you do in this particular task? So a marathoner is extremely fit to run for a long time, but maybe not very fit to bench press their body weight for reps. And so choosing that measure makes sense. So if you say, here's my minimum for flexibility, I need to be able to do X, whether it's touch my toes or it's to sit down at the bottom of a squat without straining. My goal for athletes is that their minimum for flexibility is they can walk into the gym any given day, any time, just got out of the car, and assume the positions we will need today for the different exercises we're going to do without warming up. So if that means, now we're going to warm up because we want to get the body ready to handle heavier weights and to move fast and do those things. But I want you to be able to get into a front squat without having to get loose first, right? So that'd be my suggested minimum when we talk about flexibility. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that for me, and that's something we talk about like with mobility. I mean that like for every person, that's a different thing. And for men, it's significantly different from women. So what I think is, it's kind of a personalized approach.
Are you sexist?
Well, I mean, I just
Are men and women different?
Yeah.
Is that what?
It's true. Most women don't spend a lot of their formative years benching.
Are you sure?
Well, in my professional experience, it's
no, I totally agree.
But you know what I mean?
Hard time. Yeah.
But so for me, I don't lack a bunch of mobility anywhere really, but my lower body. My upper body's fairly decent.
You didn't spend a lot of your formative youth benching either?
No, I spent it all running. so that's why,
So that's why you bench press 135?
Yeah. I mean, right now, that's like when you talk about minimums, I benched 205 and it was like barely moving. And I was like, well, I've neglected this long enough.
Yeah, time to put a few weeks of work into it, right? Sure.
I just want to be able to do the workout.
Yeah.
I want to be able to wake up and come in and, like you said, be able to do the front squat. Can you air squat?
Right.
Be able to do that and get yourself in that position, because I think later on in life, when you're in the bathroom at 85 years old,
right,
can you pick your body weight up off of the toilet?
Can you literally twist to wipe your own butt so you don't get put in a nursing home?
I mean, I think all those things are important.
Absolutely, they're important. So let's just go kind of physical skills, because that seems like the easiest way to talk about minimums and maximums. You might talk about a maximum in terms of flexibility, and you've probably followed some yogis on Instagram or something like that where I'm able to wrap my leg around my head and whatever else. I have no idea what the poses are called.
Hey, look, when I was a kid, I could turn my thumb backwards. That's flexibility.
There you go.
I mean, that kind of stuff when you're a kid,
So you could have a maximum. Is that useful for daily life? If you love it, cool, do it, right? That's fine. But you don't need that to live life healthy and comfortable.
No. And that's why I think that people think about CrossFit or fitness. If you love running and you then continue to do it, I just think that it would be probably to your benefit and society's benefit if you could back squat some amount of weight with a barbell.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's where I say minimums, when it's different for different people.
So then let's talk about that. So let's talk about strength, right? So if we're going to talk about maximums and minimums, I'm fine with minimums being different person to person, gender to gender, whatever. But I feel like you should pick a handful of things that are your baseline exercises, right? Where you say, hey, well, maybe it's the back squat, maybe it's the front squat. A squat should be one of those things. Maybe some kind of a pulling movement, whether it's a deadlift or a clean or a snatch, some kind of pushing movement, a bench or an overhead press, push press.
I think that even more basic. I think that we have people, in CrossFit, they want to get super complicated and I'm like, hey, let's see 10 really good push-ups.
Sure.
And that's
that might be a good minimum for a lot of people.
That's for a lot of people, it requires an unbelievable amount of strength.
Yeah. If my grandmother could hold on to 10 strict push-ups for the rest of her life, her life would be demonstrably better than if that minimum got away.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Will this formula satisfy you then? Would you say that every man should be able to back squat their body weight, deadlift their body weight, and possibly bench press 75% of their body weight?
That's not unreasonable. I'd say healthy. So if you're obese, then to get to those numbers is probably not strength. It's going to be managing your lifestyle to get you down to a weight that's reasonable for. But yeah, I think any reasonably healthy adult male who decides they want to could squat 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I think that's an everyman weight.
Just anybody off the street?
Given enough time and enough effort. If that's what they want to do,
Yeah.
I think anybody could get up to a 400-pound back squat.
I mean,
but I think I would like to see anybody be able to walk up to something that weighs 200 pounds and pick it up. Rather than maybe a percentage of body weight that if you weigh 150 pounds, I would like you to be able to deadlift 200 pounds. And if you're a CrossFitter, then your minimum, if you want to be competitive, comes up a little bit. So right now, minimums in CrossFit high-level competition is probably closer to a 500-pound deadlift.
Yeah.
Where anything over that, you're probably wasting your time getting stronger than that in terms of CrossFitting. But a 500-pound deadlift makes 225 for reps a lot easier.
If we haven't had a CrossFitian on in a while, but a lot of them seem to be, we would be giants.
No, that's
there's
true.
not many. I think the men and women are all about 5'6" to 5'8".
Yeah. Well, maybe up to Hudson over here doing burpees.
They're doing, I think, 10.
He's about 6 foot.
This is a good minimum. I think they're doing 10 burpee over the bars, or 10 thrusters, 10 burpee over the bars, 10 pull-ups.
Yeah, that's a good minimum for you.
Yeah, that's not
fun. That looks terrible to me.
It looks hard. I think they're doing it for 2 minutes and then resting a minute.
I'd like to rest longer than that. I want to rest just watching it.
Oh God!
Yeah, right.
Thrusters.
So what if we're going to measure? So with strength, having some idea of some baselines, and I'm fine with that being personal to you. Whether it's I want to be able to maintain 20 push-ups, 10 push-ups, 3 pull-ups. But you want to choose a handful of things and own those things. That's your things. I'm a fan of Dan John's kind of idea that there's 5 basic human movements: squat, pull, or squat hinge, like a deadlift or a kettlebell swing, hinging from the hips, push, pull, and carry. And so if you said, hey, I want to be able to farmer walk my body weight in each hand for 50 meters, and I want to be able to do 10 pull-ups, I want to be able to do 25 push-ups, or I want to be able to bench press my body weight for 5. I want to be able to squat my body weight or my body weight and a half or something like that. That if you set some minimums and then you hold on to those things, life function is easier because the percentage effort it is to do anything else when you can squat double your body weight is a much lower exertion per repetition of whatever you have to do in life. That's why everybody calls me when they need to move.
I've gotten out of that racket.
Yeah.
Nope. Too old, man.
I'm too old.
Too old.
I can't make that excuse.
Yeah, now's a good time to move. Let's not wait till July or August.
Yeah, move houses when it's cool outside and comfortable. That's true.
But I also think, and I've mentioned this before, and yes, I'll say my age. It's 42. I think once you reach a certain age, you want to be able to do just regular things.
Yeah, not be fatigued, right? Yeah. I do yard work, and I'm not worn out at the end of the day.
It's like I said last year. The first time I ever did my leaves, it took me 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Then I did it the next year, and it took me 1 hour and 30. And this past year, it took me an hour. So those are my
and then you
PRs,
didn't have to go lay in the bathtub and soak in an Epsom salt bath.
Perfectly fine.
Right.
I mean, and I think we as a society, in some ways, have just gotten away from that. We used to.
Do you think that Americans are lazy?
I would say that we're not. We're setting trends. We're trying to do as little as possible. A lot of us.
I just think that when we spend our day behind the computer sitting, I mean, we're sitting now, but we've gone from an agrarian to a more of a business-centered kind of job.
Sure.
The knowledge economy.
Yeah.
The experience economy. You should read that book, somebody, The Experience Economy.
I watched a TV show that basically, they basically said, okay, we're going to put this guy in here, we're going to put this guy in this job, and we're going to see what you burn calorie-wise for that day.
Yep.
And so the guy they put on the farm, he burned 1,000 extra calories that day. And the guy they put in the office, he only burned an extra 200 calories for that day.
Over his resting.
Right. And so that adds up over time.
Sure. We had a guy at the gym.
Definitely.
Lived about 45 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And people always ask why he came in twice a day. He's like, well, I sit at a desk. He's like, I work at a computer and I sit in my car for 2 hours a day. So my resting metabolic rate is basically nothing.
Right. Yeah, I'm just staying alive.
Yeah, it wasn't, and he worked hard, but he just was like, well, I'm going to use my lunch break, and he would either run or walk or
sure.
That's what I got into doing. I
do something,
walk for an hour,
get up and move. Yeah,
urban hikes.
There you go.
Steve Jobs did walking meetings.
Yeah, smart. People tend to think better when they're fitter. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll pick up probably with endurance, talking about minimums and maximums.
Get it in.
And we're back. So we just talked a little bit about the basics of thinking in terms of minimums and maximums. And I think we all agree that minimums may be more important to your long-term health and fitness than maximums.
Yep.
Get a little bit into mobility, a little bit into strength. So let's talk endurance.
Man.
Now, if you're a meathead like me,
yep,
endurance is not the conversation that most of us want to have.
No.
Raise your hand if you hate running. Just click the thumbs up if you hate running.
If you love running, comment below.
Yeah, there you go. Don't hit the thumbs down.
I would rather ride a bike.
But I was thinking about this the other day. I went hiking over Thanksgiving, and a lot of the trails. We went to some places where, you'd walk in, and there was, first of all, it's when I really realized Thanksgiving was truly an American holiday, because most of the people out were foreign, not American, not American born. And
how did you know? Did you ask them all?
Yeah, and they were asking us. They were asking us questions.
Yeah,
and clearly they weren't from here, right?
Okay, all right.
English was not their native language, and
that doesn't mean they weren't born here.
Tourists.
America is the great melting pot.
Well, all right. I was assuming that they weren't from here.
All right.
But,
racist.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I was like, oh, this would be such a great thing to do with some of my friends, and then I realized that for a lot of people, that probably would be like just walking on like a trail, like the Swamp Rabbit. It was like a Swamp Rabbit trail, but not paved, right?
A little more elevation.
Yeah, a little more elevation, but not super hard, and not like Table Rock if you're from Greenville, which is like 3 miles of going upstairs.
Just climbing, right? Yeah.
So like maybe a botanical garden is what you're saying?
Yeah, like stuff like
something nice.
But for a lot of people, that would be like almost impossible.
You couldn't enjoy it because you'd be working too hard.
And that's when I said, if you can go outside and at least have like a brisk walk with people, your peers.
Sure.
Or bike. I mean, you live in Greenville, so there's a lot of biking.
Yep.
That's a minimum. Or if you're trying to be more competitive, I would think, be able to run a mile without stopping. And then if you want to get more specific towards your goals.
Yeah.
And then you could come up with the time.
Right.
But as all these things kind of like, shift, you can't be good at all of them at once.
I'm just
to an extent. I'm going to say CrossFitters have been proving that wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
based on what people think is possible and what should be possible.
Yeah, I'm going to say us normal humans, not like Hudson
Who wants
over
to be
here.
A normal human.
He can,
Normal humans don't listen to our show.
Oh, that's true.
This is the elite.
Yeah, well, I just know that, they can run like 5-minute miles and deadlift 500 pounds. And I'm like,
I would just say, coming from the average Joe point of view, just like they've always said before, go out and walk for 30 minutes.
Sure.
If you can't go out and walk for 15 minutes or 30 minutes on flat ground, you got a problem.
And if you squat 800 pounds and you can't walk for 30 minutes, you have a problem. Like you should be able to go and do basic human function.
Or like I saw Kevin Saturday enjoying the beautiful day outside, walking downtown in Greenville, which is awesome.
You were riding a bike.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that's inaccessible.
Yeah.
And that's, if they were saying minimum, man, you got to get out there and be able to use your
the
fitness.
Physical world.
Which I think that
definitely
it can be hard to sometimes get people to do that because, if they have 5 hours of free time and they're coming to the gym, they have like work and life and kids and families.
I just think we have a shut-in society that's highly mobile, but they want to work, they want to go home, and that's all they have time for because there's so many other things out there that's just grabbing your time.
Should there be a minimum and a maximum for community?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. So let's talk a little more endurance, but we'll get into that because that's interesting. So the minimums maybe for endurance would be something simple like I could take a 30-minute walk and it doesn't ruin the rest of my day because I'm too fatigued or and that's assuming a generally healthy person, right? If you're suffering from an AFib or things like that, then that's different. Special populations, whatever. But and then maximums, you look at people. A friend of mine just ran a 50-mile road race. That's pretty maximal.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot
like
of
10
running.
hours of running. Yeah, or you're doing like an Ironman triathlon or something like that.
That's amazing. And I've got friends who do Ironman, and I'm still in awe of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing what they're able to do. But that's not what we're talking about when we say you need to be able to have some endurance in your day-to-day training. So if you're a strength athlete. Some of the guys that have been beating the drum the hardest have been like Tony Cowden at CrossFit Wilmington and Alex Viada from Complete Human Performance, who I'd still love to get on the show. Both of those guys would be good guests. Talking about, why can't you run a 6-minute mile and have a 600-pound squat? Why not? Just because everybody said you can't is not a good reason to agree that you can't. And perhaps even your endurance training will benefit your strength training as you're able to recover faster between sets and do more quality work in less time.
I would agree to an extent, and I'm not a scientist on this, but but Hudson has mentioned this before.
Science.
When you do a pull-up, you want to weigh the least amount you can and still be strong enough to pull yourself up.
That's easier.
Kind of like
Definitely.
running. If you have a 600-pound squat, I'm pretty sure you have thighs and calves that are huge that look great for running, but what is it doing to the joints?
Well, Tony ran a 35 mile and had a 550, 60 deadlift.
Hey, I'm not knocking somebody that can do that. Yeah. That's impressive.
At about 220-ish.
I just think that's probably he's more in the higher echelons.
Oh,
of
totally.
That,
Yeah, absolutely. But that it's possible means we could all do it.
And I would say that
to an extent.
I enjoy running. I've been doing a little bit more of it. And
running's not the only way to train endurance either.
I mean, you can row,
get on a bicycle,
bike.
I don't care if you get on the elliptical. That doesn't matter to me. It's more to me a matter of cardiovascular health and capacity and there.
You can get an anti-gravity treadmill.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? They're only $80,000.
Just go to NASA. Get your exercise equipment set up.
They got 2 in Greenville out at Furman.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yeah.
You've all heard this quote before.
I haven't.
You can't flex cardio.
That's true.
I
think
disagree.
I've said that before. What?
I disagree. I think you can flex cardio.
Flex cardio?
Yep.
Nobody wants to watch social media of somebody running.
I honestly think
you
have somebody, I think Rich Froning.
I've tried.
I think Rich Froning is the perfect example of someone who can flex cardio.
Yeah, well,
because he works out so hard.
But
he does so much work that he can sit there and be behind somebody and watch them do the workout, mentally count where they are in their workout, and he can either decide whether he wants to turn it on or not turn it on. And that's with anybody who's in competitiveness. You can flex cardio if it's in your wheelhouse.
Well, sure. I would say, I mean, I guess it's kind of like it's harder. That's the one drawback, I think, to having these. Like they had the CrossFit Invitational.
Right.
Nope. These workouts have never been done before. Right.
So it's hard to compare.
So it's hard to compare. Like we're like, oh, is he really trying? Or is he like we know in football, like, hey, they're losing. Right. They're going to have to come back.
Right.
Or like they're not good at certain things. So I think that's.
But that's a team mentality. We're talking about somebody that's a singular person that's working, that knows where they are in the workout at the time.
Yeah.
Well,
and they know what their capacity is.
Sure.
So I think in that respect, you can flex cardio. I think
I don't think.
Done.
I still won't watch it on Instagram.
I'm not going to do it.
I just am like, wow, they ran like
good 10K.
Good, yeah,
nice
awesome.
job.
Let's watch the last lap.
Post the picture of you thumbs up, high fiving at the finish line, and post your PR.
Like
I can do that.
But you do know what the word is for flexing your cardio is. It's just one simple word. It's called pace. You have to pace yourself.
Well, that's true.
Pace.
Someone told me
pacing is nothing more than flexing your cardio. You're taking the time.
Pacing? That's a new T-shirt.
You're not going out the gate.
just
Hudson always
flexing
says, whatever you do, don't go out the gate.
Yeah.
You'll blow yourself out. It's just pacing.
A member told me that their CrossFit pacing is very similar to their drinking pacing. They just start as fast as possible.
Well, you're flexing your
and
liver.
I was like,
for time.
I was like,
you can't flex livers.
You're flexing your liver.
That is the worst approach to both of those things.
That's probably true. Yeah, get as wrecked as possible as fast as possible. So within the communal aspect, right? So it's not necessarily an aptitude or a fitness measurement, but if we're in this for kind of health and fitness,
sure,
community plays a big part in motivation to maintain minimums. So everybody is not intrinsically motivated to do everything that they do, where it's just for me because I love it and I want to do it. A lot of people, it's because I have a family, or it's because I have a friend group or a social circle where maintaining these capacities really matter. And if you live your life basically pull out of the garage, close the garage door, go to work, drive in, pull in, close the garage door, and no one ever sees you, like neighborhoods may as well not be called neighborhoods anymore, or communities, because there's really just a bunch of individual homes.
That's kind of sort of how my neighborhood is.
That's everybody.
My neighborhood is.
Everybody lives like
Nobody
that.
goes and talks to anybody anymore.
Right. They're not neighbors. You just live near each other.
Yeah.
And that's what, I think that I've heard, and Joe Rogan talks he's like, well, why don't his best friends, why don't they all live in the same neighborhood? Because then that community is kind of already exists, and then you live near your neighbors.
Yeah, if you went to college and you lived on campus, that's probably the last time that you had that. Or if you're in the military or another really communal organization.
I mean,
it's probably the last time that you were in kind of community like that, which is one of the big selling points for CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
Is because it reintroduces some community to people's lives who are kind of missing it and
I just think it's PE for adults.
don't have any friends.
sure.
It's PE for adults.
Where do you go to make friends if you don't have any friends as an adult?
Well,
CrossFit gym, the bar.
Yeah, but you really want to make friends with everybody at the bar? They're all there drinking because they're unhappy.
It just depends on what. It really and truly, your community is where you are in the stage of your life.
Sure.
Your elementary is your community. Your middle
Those
school.
are the good old days.
And so on and so forth.
It was easier to make friends back then.
So I've been going to yoga, and
But you have a yoga community now.
yeah. Well,
There you
here's
go.
the thing. I've found that it's like a lot of it's I see that people I go to yoga to be mindful and present, right? Which is a big part of it for me. I mean, I go 1 or 2 times a week, and then immediately when class is over, I look around. I'm taking some time for myself, and everyone's gone, and I just feel like that's the world we live in. People will dedicate 65 minutes.
Period. Hard stop.
And they're rolling their mats up out the door.
They got to be somewhere else.
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, for me, as I look at everything maybe a little differently because I'm
different.
Yeah, different. And, there's people that do that at the CrossFit gym too.
Sure.
And I'm like, I don't
In
even.
and out, leaving before the class is over.
Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, if it involves thrusters, how is that possible? But,
I've
Counting
tried
by fives.
yeah.
I tried to be philosophical about that one time. I wrote in my journal about CrossFit and what it meant to me and why people would do it, or at least is what I thought.
Yeah.
I think it's the aspect of time.
Yeah.
I think no matter what you do in CrossFit, it's always based on time. Many reps as possible, for time.
Sure.
You only have 60 minutes.
Yep.
So that's the one part of your day that you literally have control over what you do with your time.
Yeah.
And so either you're going to kill it or you're going to let time beat you.
Cool.
So I think that's why people are intrinsically drawn to CrossFit, because you're actually controlling the time.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. But
Definitely.
for community, I think that, and I've said this, I think that to maintain really good relationships with people, it's really hard to do.
Takes effort.
It takes a lot of effort. You
got to put yourself out there.
You have to be good at communicating, which it's as easy as it's ever been. Right now, you can text, email, Facebook message,
but then you have to.
But then, you have to, and I have the habit of sometimes, what is it, FOMO? So your fear of missing out. So you make no plans.
Have that. I don't have FOMO.
Yeah, I don't have FOMO. I just have
FOMO.
I'm probably really bad. I probably need, this is calling myself out, I need a calendar a more detailed calendar so that I don't just like remember in my head, be like, I think on Saturday I have
Someone
something
said
to do.
we were going to something.
Yeah. I'm like,
at some
I
point.
think I have to go to this birthday dinner.
I got one for you, just the perfect
Nice.
one. And
It's called the calendar?
Nope, it's not an endorsement, but they don't. It's called the Passion Planner.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, basically at the beginning of every month you write down 5 things that you need to do, 5 things you want to be better at, and then every day you write down what you need.
Okay.
So
I just forget, like.
it's also called a journal.
Yeah, well, no, it's more like, hey, am I supposed to be going to dinner or Friendsgiving, Santa? I don't know what they're called. I have a lot of.
People start calling stuff stupid
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
after
I mean,
a while.
I'm like, okay.
Friendsgiving is a dumb word.
I just think people's time is valuable, like I said.
Sure.
And I think that, it's where you spend your time is where you care the most.
Definitely.
And
the minimum amount of time you should spend in your CrossFit gym every week.
10 hours.
10 hours.
10, 20, maybe 30 hours a week in your CrossFit gym.
But I mean,
You could volunteer to clean the bathrooms for part of that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweep floors, vacuum, wipe down equipment.
I've done that.
Yeah.
That would be good.
It's called building community.
But
There you go.
I mean, I think it's hard. And I think that as CrossFit
Got the peanut gallery over here.
Yeah.
grows, I think, oh, geez, what's the number that you can only maintain so many people without it?
Just shy of 200.
Yeah, but what's that thing called?
I can't remember the name of the
Factions,
number.
spinners.
There's a guy's name. It's somebody's
it's like
number.
not
It's like
Hammurabi's code or
175
something.
or something like that.
And I think that when you think about it, you're like, well, we need.
That's what Google's for.
Yeah, there are. I mean, that's a lot of people to know a lot of things about.
But I mean, let's be honest. You got like Facebook, right?
Yeah.
How many friends do you have on Facebook?
So many.
But I mean, how many of those
I have
friends
no
do you
idea.
actually interact with
Dunbar's
on a day-to-day
number.
basis?
Dunbar's number.
Dunbar's number.
Shout out to Dunbar.
How many of those people do you actually interact with, though, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I would say 50.
Really?
Well, I mean, like at the gym, right? However many people are there for coaching.
But I'm willing to bet that if you went through to like clear out some friends,
Yeah.
you would find something about each person that you're like, well, I kind of want to keep that person in there
Yeah.
because they're interesting or something.
So Dunbar theorized that the limit of these friends is a function of relative neocortex size. And
Oh,
that
boy.
is the limit of your group size.
So how can we test our neocortex?
I guess
MRI,
Yeah, I guess
CAT
you gotta
scan.
go get an MRI to decide how many friends you're able to have.
If anyone has one of those,
Hi, I'm
here
here
to
to get my neocortex scan because I need to know how many friends I can have.
I have. Then I'm gonna have
I need to know
Yes.
the circumference, the weight, and the volume. I got to stuff a lot of people in there.
Yes, that's perfect. That's what we're
yeah.
going to start doing. That's the new service being
That's the
offered.
news. That and skin fold.
We're
We'll
gonna,
give that
we're
for
gonna,
free.
Yeah, you get a skin fold measurement for free when we measure your neocortex for how many friends you're able to maintain.
Can we stamp that on your arm? You're like, you can only have this
We've
minimum
got a
number
maximum.
of friends.
Yeah, and it's
And
going
then
to
you
limit.
like walk around and you look at people and say, well, you got this many friends left. Do I really
Yeah.
want to be your friend?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
You can sub them out.
Yeah, you're in, you're out. See ya. Sorry, we've hit the,
Yeah, a little
we've
line
hit the top
change in
end.
hockey.
You know, like
Yeah. We've hit the limit.
be like we're having a friend divorce. I mean, that happens.
Have you ever had that conversation with somebody
I've ne-
overtly?
I've never had the conversation. I definitely have been
Friend divorce?
like I remember I sent out when I was starting the gym, like sent out like some social event to someone I considered to be what I thought a close friend,
Yep.
and then I get a reply back. I had sent like 2 or 3 emails, and then this one day it's like, please remove me from your email list.
Yep.
And there was not an email list. It was like me BC.
emailing friends.
Yeah. And I was like,
Hey,
Okay.
and by the way, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
and I was like, I guess that means that I'm not coming over to hang out anytime soon. But these things happen. I think,
I'm just more along the lines that you just walk away from people sometimes.
sure.
And you don't mean to do it, but it's just like, at some point, something else happens. You get a new job, you
When
move
worlds
somewhere, you
divide.
yeah.
start doing this, you hang out with a newer circle,
That's true.
and that just kind of draws you in,
And then if you have good friends, they remind you that you need to keep up your minimums
Yeah.
while pursuing your maximums.
I think that's
And it's
something
going to be okay.
that's for some people a sensitive subject, right? And they get kind of upset.
Yeah.
But only your real friends are only bringing it up because they want you to.
Because they want to control you.
No, I think that you just want a healthier version. Like for my own selfish reasons. Like if I have, for some friends that smoke cigarettes or.
Right. Yeah. So I want you to quit so we can be friends.
Man, I just would like you to quit so that, like, one, you had more money and like better health, right? I mean, it's like so that our experiences together can be more enjoyable.
Sure.
But, we live in a world where if you bring up something that's maybe sensitive, that people...
hey, man, why are you putting me down? This is my life. I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
If I want to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, I'm going to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day.
Well, that's true, you are.
But...
Kevin, we're concerned about you smoking a pack of cigarettes every day.
But they're American...
pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, they're American spirits. It's okay.
They're organic.
They're cloves.
Yeah.
Organic
natural.
Cigarettes? Is somebody really billing organic cigarettes?
Organic smoke.
Isn't that American spirits? They're supposed to be cleaner.
Organic cigarettes.
Well, I mean, think about this. Now you have vaping. Okay.
Oh yeah, vaping.
So this is what I asked a medical doctor. This.
Yeah.
Nudge, 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 wink, wink.
Sure.
Are you not just drowning yourself slowly?
I mean, if you put a humidifier in your room, are you drowning?
Well, I guess you would over time. Either that or you die of mold from the walls.
Maybe that's next week's show. We just all vape and see if we die. I don't know.
No, but I'm just like, I mean,
this is getting out of hand.
You're going from smoke to water vapor.
Yeah.
Right? So would that not be a form of drowning?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say no, because there is some latent vapor in the air that you're breathing. Yeah. When it dries way out, your lips get chapped. That's why the wintertime is the worst time.
So you think that people that vape all the time would really love it when it's misting and foggy outside?
Probably.
We should ask one.
That's their favorite.
There's a lot of people that vape.
London fog.
We wouldn't have to go far. I mean, I'm sure there's a vape store somewhere around here.
You could probably throw a rock to it.
Yeah.
Probably. What's the flavor you're vaping today? Blue Ridge Mountains.
That's one thing that I just don't.
This is getting stupid. I love it. All right, go ahead.
I don't really know much about vaping.
I don't either. I
don't know a thing
I think
about
that they're getting bigger and bigger. They're like the size of cell phones now.
I thought
it looks like a deck of cards with a stick on it.
It's a hookah is what it is. Basically, it's just a liquid hookah.
Well,
from my understanding, I don't vape, and I've got friends that do it, and I've seen it done before, and I may have tried it once or twice.
I've seen people vape,
but I'm just like it's
THC oil.
But you are right; they are getting bigger. It's like this huge thing.
That's what I wonder all the time.
What are you really consuming in your vapor?
I don't know much about nicotine.
I just can't wait till they come out with one with like a chain start and a string pull start.
That sounds good.
Just go in there. You got the smoke coming out the side. You're over here vaping.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got your tank of stuff over here. And you're just.
That's pretty intense. Yeah. That's my next product to bring to market.
What a gas powered
vape.
Just put it in Fallout 5. That'd be great.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. In the post-apocalyptic wasteland. So I think we've totally lost it. So
no, I don't think we've lost it. I just think we've just kind of chased a rabbit.
You can post your comments below on vaping or concerns.
Whatever you like.
But we were talking about communities.
Yeah.
Okay.
The vaporizing
I mean, there's good and bad.
Vaporizing communities.
Well, no, a community doesn't mean necessarily that you're healthy.
That's true.
I mean.
So, minimums and maximums. They're important. I'm going to tell you minimums are more important than maximums because if you're maintaining your minimums, you're always in a striking distance to attack maximums, right? That's kind of the West Side model of training is that the goal will be that you're always kind of ready to ramp up and hit a competition anytime, maybe even just 4 weeks out. So maintain your minimums. Choose the things to you that are important to maintain minimums in. We gave some suggestions of maintaining your flexibility to a certain standard, where you could get into any position you need to in your day-to-day life without having to stretch out and fight for it. Maybe strength standards of some percentage of body weight or of choosing, in my opinion, 5 exercises, whether that's body weight exercises for a standard or a barbell or a kettlebell or a human, whatever you're going to carry and lift and whatever. And then some endurance basics, minimums being it'd be nice to see your resting heart rate in the 60s. It'd be nice to see you be able to do something, relatively strenuous, whatever that is in your lifestyle for 30 minutes or so. Go out for a walk as a very, very
help someone
minimal
move.
thing. Yeah, help people move, test your strength.
Basically, it's the first
your
workout
endurance.
you'll ever do in CrossFit.
Yeah.
What is helping someone move?
No.
Setting up their gym for them for free.
For free. For free. No, I'm
That's
talking about
what-
like minimums and
That's
stuff.
like
Yeah.
the old CrossFit Journal said, like, just ask your friends to do everything for you. They will. I think I was like, awesome.
That was, and then they didn't.
Fact.
Hey guys, help us out. We're going to
Hey.
open a gym.
Do you know
Okay,
how to
cool.
make a
No.
website? You know? Not anymore? Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then pursue the maximums because there's a lot of fun in maximums. It's cool to be able to walk into the gym and set a PR all the time, especially if it's your new back squat PR in one shoe on, one shoe off, one tall sock with shorts,
One knee wrap on the left side.
one knee wrap, a wrist watch, and a wedding band PR. Then, you know what you're shooting for. So let's bring it in for a landing. I am at Disruptive Fit on Instagram and Twitter.
At B Chapin on Instagram and Twitter. I think it might be a 31 after one of those on Twitter.
There was 30 other ones already.
No, that's my... You guys might not have seen my JV basketball highlight tape, but that was my number.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Yeah, watch for that as well on YouTube, the highlight tape.
Mine is just the Buckethead Media or Buckethead.media. Instagram, Twitters, whatever.
Yeah, so if you got some value from this, like it, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the iTunes, leave some reviews, positive comments, all that fun stuff. And we will see you next week.
Later.
Have a good one.
Hey, thanks again for sticking around and listening to the end of the show. If you've been enjoying what you're hearing, just go ahead and click subscribe. Maybe share it out along your friends, social media. And we would love to be a great resource for any of you guys. So if you have questions, comments, or folks you would like to see on the show, you can head over to disruptivefit.com/contact and fill in the form. And we will be happy to interact and reply and see what we got coming down the pike.
I agree. And also, like we said last week, if you want to sponsor the show, then just
head there as well.
Yeah.
Easy way to get in touch.
And where would that be?
Disruptivefit.com/contact.
Sweet. Till next week, we'll see you. Thanks for listening again to the Disruptive Cast, hosted by Brandon Simpson, David Schlarb, Brandon Chapin, and Kevin Harrington. Edited by Buckethead Media. Music provided by Travis Brooks.